If you've ever walked out of a meeting thinking, I should have said that differently, or you freeze up when you need to speak with confidence, you're not alone. Most HR managers have the knowledge, but they just don't feel confident communicating it clearly. Nothing hurts your influence faster than struggling to express your thoughts clearly in high stakes moments. Today, I'm going to show you the habits around communication that help HR managers to earn trust, reduce conflict, and finally speak with clarity and confidence. After growing my own HR career from intern to the C suite and now serving as an HR leadership coach, communication is the number one skill that's changed my entire career. Your communication skills are your leadership presence. If you want to be trusted, respected, and included in bigger conversations, you must learn how to communicate like a leader and not just an HR professional. Here's what you need to know. Great HR communicators lead with clarity, not over explanation. HR often feels the need to justify, explain, or soften the message. Think about the last time that you went into a meeting and you thought you knew what you want to say, but you started fumbling and you started rambling and you started, falling over your words and not getting your message out clearly. Think about it. How did that land with the people you were speaking to? Did they trust you more after that? Were they engaged with what you were talking about? Did they trust you more? Probably not. So you've got to remember that you can't go into meetings not knowing what you want to talk about. You can't go into meetings expecting it to just come to you. Preparation truly is the key. Leaders listen to clarity, not rambling, not apologizing, not over talking. One of the things I had to learn so early in my career is to not qualify the things I was saying. So often I had to realize I was apologizing or trying to give context to my perspective or my suggestions or even my advice when it came to, consulting on the things that were happening in the company. Discounting myself because I was the youngest in the room. Discounting myself because I had maybe the least amount of lived experiences because I was the youngest in the room. But again, if you have gone to school for HR or you've studied HR or you've gotten your certifications in HR or you've gotten advanced degrees or you've been in HR for 20 years or not, you got to understand that the things that you know are the things that you know and no one can take that away from you. So your ability to communicate it clearly is one of the things going to help to build your influence, but also build a level of respect others have for you. So often I talk to people who, when I'm talking to them, I see the potential in them. I see the way they show up for themselves, the way they show up for the people that they lead, the way they show up for their family even. And yet that imposter syndrome still kicks in for so many HR professionals, especially HR professionals who are women, especially HR professionals who are women of color, especially HR professionals who might feel like we don't have the same level of education as others. So you got to realize if you are in a certain role, you are there for a reason, but you got to learn how to lead yourself, learn how to lean into those opportunities. That's one of the things I help my clients with. I talk often about leading yourself first, because before you can lead anything else, before you can lead anyone else, you've got to lead yourself first. And what does that look like? That looks like understanding the values that you bring. That looks like understanding how you need to work and show up for yourself. That means holding yourself accountable. How can you hold someone else accountable if you're not holding yourself accountable? How can you hold someone else to a standard of excellence, a standard of almost perfection, if you are not leading for yourself in excellence as well? So again, you've got to make sure that that confidence that you have, that you carry into those meetings that you have, is going to be the basis and the foundation for you to communicate clearly. So what does clarity look like? Clarity is confidence. Clarity is influence. Clarity is leadership. And leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. So again, your ability to communicate has to be top notch. Your tone and your presence matter way more than your words. Leaders trust HR professionals who speak calmly, who pause before responding, who maintains a steady tone, who carries themselves confidently. Think about it. In HR, we're dealing with so many things, from things that might be the smallest thing to the biggest thing, but we're dealing with people and things that are important to people. And with that, there are going to be some high highs and some low lows. Talking to people through a very tough challenge for either themselves, a health issue, or their family member's health issue. Maybe it's a payroll discrepancy that you're trying to reconcile. Maybe it's a tough conversation regarding someone's behavior or someone's performance. Your ability to communicate well, the way you have things said, the way you present yourself is so important. Think about it this way. You have to be the calm in the storm. When everything around you is going left, when everything around you seems to be failing or falling short, you've got to still be confident. You cannot let that knock you off your square. Going back to the very first point, your confidence must be unshakable. You got to know on what ground you're standing. You got to understand the values that you bring and the things you bring to the workplace so that when things go rough, when things start to fall off, You know that you are leading with integrity. You know that you are leading with the best intentions. So again, your ability to show up confidently matters so much. It's not about just the words that you say. It's truly your tone. I believe wholeheartedly there's a way to say and do anything. It could be the worst news possible, but the way you present it, the way you set the table, so to speak, is so important. It'll make or break that conversation. You can terminate someone with integrity. You can have a tough conversation and hold someone accountable with love and with compassion. So again, you don't have to be rough. You don't have to be what I hate to see people do is they fail to be tactful and they just say, "Oh, well, I'm just being honest." What's the point of honesty if you're not going to be tactful? What's the point of honesty if you're holding people accountable but you're doing it from a bad place? So I truly believe that there's a way to say and do everything and your tone matters so much. Communication is not just the words that you use. It's literally your leadership energy. It's the way you move, it's the way you present. It's the feeling that people have when they leave you. When I talk about personal branding with my clients, personal branding, when you think about the word brand, think about a cattle brand. It's this impression that you leave on someone. So all this is playing its part. You've got to make sure that the way you show up, the way you communicate, the way you present yourself is consistent. If this is resonating with you, hit that like button and let me know. I just want to take a beat just to make sure that you're still with me. And tell me in the comments, have you ever avoided speaking up because you weren't confident that your message would land? Type yes if that sounds like you in the chat. I truly believe that one of the things that keeps HR leaders stuck is that we get caught off guard and we're not prepared to know what to say when things happen. So this is why it's so important to remember that HR managers need repeatable communication structure. What I mean by that is high stakes moments like investigations or termination, even coaching require structure. Without that structure, you're going to ramble, you're going to go on and on, you're going to say something you didn't mean to say. Hear me clearly. When I say that you need a structure, I'm not telling you that you need a script. You don't want to go into scripting every conversation because then you're going to sound like a robot. It's going to take out the ability for you to really meet people where they are. But you do need a structure or a framework around how you present your ideas, how you share your suggestions and your opinions. Think about it this way. Will you trust a person who gives you a different answer every time you ask them the same question, or who has a different affect every time you meet them, or has a different communication style or a different opinion or a different feel to their energy every time you interact? No. So consistency is so important, and the structure gives you that consistency and also helps you to build your confidence in the process. The goal here when presenting HR initiatives or handling employee performance or behavioral issues or even brainstorming with your peer leaders, be concise and be results driven. I've got many frameworks and many things that I use to keep myself accountable in my day job, but also things that I help my clients with. And one of those frameworks is what I call the PACT method, PACT. So P, talk about the problem at hand, like what is going on right now? What are we trying to address? A, the action to take. So what do we need to do or what can we consider? C, the company impact. If we're talking about a business case or we're talking about an impact to the team, what is the impact? And then T, so take those next steps. So ultimately, the recommendation is XYZ. The reason why it's so important to follow a structure like this is because if you just start off the top of your head just rambling, it's going to take a really long time for you to land that plane. And if you don't land that plane, either someone's going to land the plane for you with the worst idea, or it's not going to be aligned, it's not going to be compliant, it's not going to be consistent. So you've got to have a structure around the way you think and the way you present. Again, this is not about being robotic. That's why we're not scripting out every single word, but you're thinking about a framework that you can think about to present those ideas to keep you on track. Communication skills improve when you control your pace, not your script. Not to harp on this idea, but most professionals think they need a perfect script to sound confident. Again, you do not. You need control of your pace. Slow, clear, intentional. If you can't tell, I have a very fast pace when I speak. And it's something I have to really consciously slow myself down, because when I get excited, my speed just really ramps up. And it's out of habit. It's something I'm still trying to control. I'm a work in progress just like everyone else. But when I'm presenting ideas, when I'm presenting to a room with my peers, when I'm presenting to a room of not my peers, when I'm speaking on stages, when I'm presenting to my team, my words must be chosen very carefully. I must be very intentional with the selection of the words that I use, because I got to make sure that it's going to land well. I want to make sure that I'm not over communicating anything. I want to make sure I'm not communicating anything in the wrong way. I want to make sure that I'm getting things across in a way that's going to land well. Again, it might go in my mind a mile a minute. I've got to make sure that the person who is hearing it, the person who's receiving it, can receive it well. I've got to give them time to digest. So the thing for you, I try my best on this channel, but I get so excited. I try my best on this channel to even talk about things to you in a very measured pace. But again, I'm human. I get very excited. But you've got to make sure that when you're communicating things, you have the best idea possible. But if you're speeding through what you're talking about, it's going to make it that much more difficult for it to land well on the person who's receiving it. Think of it this way: pacing will reduce your anxiety, increase your clarity, and communicate authority, which is something we all strive for as HR leaders. I'm a big believer of the idea that iron sharpens iron, similar to the fact that you can't grow alone, or you shouldn't grow alone, or you shouldn't try to navigate things on your own. And so for that reason, it's so important to remember feedback sometimes feels personal, but great communicators use it strategically. Great HR communicators actively seek out feedback, not because they're insecure, but because they're refining their leadership presence. I think that's one of the cheat codes that I had so early in my career. I had the luxury of knowing that I did not know. And so I always sought out, I don't want to call it validation, but I sought out confirmation that I was doing the right thing or that I was on the right path. And when I couldn't find that inside of my company, I went outside of my company. Again, I went back and got my MBA, went and got my HRCI certification, my SHRM certification. But even in those lanes, I realized that that's not teaching me how to do my job. That's just helping me to build my knowledge. But again, the more I learn, the more I realize, okay, how to be a good communicator, or how to be a good speaker, how to be a good presenter. And all these things help me to build my toolkit to be a great communicator. But had I just sat on the things I was gaining from my company or the things I was experiencing on the job, I wouldn't have sought out those opportunities to learn and grow on purpose. And I wouldn't be doing the things I'm doing today. So it's so important that you go and seek out opportunities to improve yourself, seek out wise counsel, seek out opportunities to hone your skill and have iron sharpen iron. Because again, you don't want to grow in isolation. On this channel, I talk often about having plans, not getting somewhere on accident. Think about it. The time is going to go by, God willing, one way or another. Don't you want to get to that next destination on purpose instead of getting there on accident? So I talk about having plans. And in my program, I talk often about driving your momentum. So you've got all these things you're working on, whether you're trying to improve relationships, you're trying to improve your technical skills, you're trying to build your toolkit in all these different lanes and competencies. But if you've got no plan to make sure you're doing things on purpose, you've got no plans to put things in place, you've got no plans to check in with yourself and hold yourself accountable, it's going to be very likely that you're going to get somewhere on accident. So I'm all about holding people accountable. Radical accountability is one of my tenets of my professional life, because I really believe that you've got to start with yourself. You've got to hold yourself accountable before you can hold anyone else or anything else accountable. So you've got to find ways to drive your own success, drive your own momentum and your career as well. If you're hearing these skills and you're thinking this is exactly what I need to grow as a leader in HR, you're exactly right. Communication is one of the biggest factors separating respected HR leaders from overwhelmed HR managers. If you want support developing these skills, not just understanding them, but developing them, I'd love to support you inside of the HR Leadership Accelerator. This is where I teach HR professionals how to communicate with clarity, confidence, and authority, and how to lead conversations instead of just reacting to them. Comment down below the words of HR career success, and I'll send you a link to book a one-on-one call with me. We can talk about where you are in your career right now, where you want to go, and how to fill in those gaps. Improving your communication is one of the foundations of great HR leadership, but it's only one piece. If you want to be seen as more than HR support, then you need to understand what truly makes a great HR leader. That's exactly what we're diving into in the very next video. I'll see you there.